This portion of the video is about the reproductive system. It'll be done in 3 parts. So you'll take part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 1 is just the introduction. Part 2 is the male reproductive, and 3 is the female. And this is basically the anatomy and physiology version of the birds and the bees. And obviously the human species does not survive without the female and male reproductive system. So it's an essential part of the development, and it's influenced by human behavior, genetics, and produces offspring. The reproductive system, unlike any other organ system, is not necessary for the survival of an individual, but it is for the whole species. The reproductive system has about 4 functions, and those 4 functions are depending on the production of gametes, which are ovaries and ovums and sperm. Fertilization, they both get fertilized, and they are developed and nourished of a new individual. And they also do reproductive hormones. And here is just a picture of the different kinds of glands, etc., that you might see. The mammary glands, the uterines, tubes and the ovaries, and the uterus, the vagina, the cervix, the uterus, and the males is the epididymitis, the penis, the testes, the prostate, and of course the seminal vesicles. The formation of the gametes, like I said before, they're reproductive cells, the sperm in the males and the oocytes, eggs, in the females. The thing that you really need to kind of know is the difference between meiosis and mitosis. The meiosis is the division of sexual cells, the sperm and the egg, into 23 chromosomes. Mitosis with a T is just the cell division of any cell. So you've got to know the difference between the two. It's kind of like it's one letter off, so be careful. MEI is sexual reproduction. MIT is cell division for any cell. So very, very important to remember the difference. Meiosis begins when all the chromosomes are duplicated, doing identical copies called chromatids. And at the beginning each has 46 chromosomes, consist of 2 chromatids connected by a centromere. It's just like a bridge. And they align in pairs called synapses. And same as the nervous system, they call synapse. Well, when these chromosomes align in pairs, it's called synapsis. Because each chromosome contains 2 chromatids, the pairing of the chromosomes bring 2 chromatids of each chromosome close together. So we continue with meiosis. And then what happens is that the genetic material is exchanged from one of the chromosomes breaks off and exchanged with another part, and this part is called crossing over. And so meiosis produces 2 haploid cells containing 23 chromosomes composed of 2 chromatids joined at a centromere. So you got your centromere, got your chromatids, and they cross over, got a haploid. So anyway, the meiosis 2, in the second stage, each cell divides into 2 more cells, and then the centromere breaks, giving more chromosome. The final deal ends up being that you have 4 haploid cells, each having 23 chromosomes. Since the number of chromosomes are reduced during the process of dividing 4 cells, the process of reduction division process. So you start out with 46, and then it divides up to 23 each, and then you end up with 4 cells with 23 each. So do the math. And here's kind of how it breaks up. And each one has a phase, much less of how other cells divide. It starts with the prophase, and then we got to middle prophase. Metaphase is when it starts dividing into 2, and then they divide from the 2 into the 4, and the kind of split into 4 cells at the telophase. And then it starts out with fertilization of the fetus, and you have the union of the sperm and the oocyte. And the zygote is a fertilized oocyte, develops after fertilization, develops into an embryo 3 to 14 days after fertilization.